Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive.
From AI-inspired insights from farmers.
If you're enjoying what we're doing here, we'd love to hear from you too.
Absolutely.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and definitely leave a comment telling us what you want to see more of on this deep dive.
We're always looking for new ideas, and we really value your feedback.
So what farm-related mysteries are you dying to uncover?
Right.
What questions are keeping you up at night? Let us know, and maybe we'll tackle them in a future deep dive. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic today that's super important, especially if you're new to farming. We're talking about seeds.
Yeah, seeds.
Okay, so think about this. Like, you know how kids love their toys?
Right.
What if one kid had all the toys in the whole world
Hmm.
and wouldn't share with anyone?
Oh, no.
That's kind of what's happening in the world of seeds. We're going to explore what's called a seed monopoly.
Exactly, a seed monopoly and how it affects farmers.
So to help us break this down, we've got an awesome article from the Non-GMO Project and a really insightful book called, wait for it, The Seed Monopoly.
Straight to the point. I like it.
So first things first, why should anyone care about seeds? They're tiny, they're brown, a little bit boring.
Well, not so fast.
Okay.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Every juicy tomato, every crunchy carrot, every delicious ear of corn starts with a seed.
Oh, that's true.
And I love this quote by Ron Finley. He's like this amazing gangster gardener.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "This little bean, this little nut, this little seed can change the world."
That's right. Like magic.
Pure magic. And for most of human history, farmers, they've been saving seeds from their best plants, sharing them with neighbors, trading them like a big seed swap.
That's pretty cool. Like it's a natural thing.
Absolutely. It's how we got so many different types of crops, ones that grow in different climates and have, all sorts of amazing qualities. But somewhere along the line, things changed.
Yeah. What happened?
Well, as scientists learned more about genetics and how to tinker with plants, companies came along and said, hold on, we can create new varieties and patent them.
That's right.
Like inventions.
Wait, you can patent a seed?
You can. It's like saying, hey, I invented this new toy and no one else can play with it.
Oh, so it's not like that free sharing thing anymore.
Not exactly. There are a bunch of different patents, some more restrictive than others, but the ones used for genetically modified seeds, GMOs, those are the heavy hitters.
Oh, GMOs. I've heard about those.
They basically prevent farmers from saving seeds from their harvest. So each season, gotta buy new seeds. And you know what's fascinating? This whole patenting thing for living organisms, it wasn't always this way.
What changed it?
There was this crazy case, actually, involving a scientist who created a bacteria that could, get this, eat oil spills.
That sounds incredibly useful.
Oh, it is. But the big question was, could you patent a living thing? And the Supreme Court, they said yes.
Wow. So this bacteria designed to, help the environment ended up shaping how we get our food.
You got it. And it opened the floodgates for companies to patent these GMO seeds. And, well, now a handful of them control a lot of the seeds in the world, especially here in the U.S.
I was reading that, just 3 crops, GMO corn, cotton, and soy, they make up almost 90% of U.S. cropland.
It's a lot of power concentrated in very few hands.
This has huge implications for farmers.
Huge, especially new farmers just starting out. It limits their choices, can increase their costs, and even create, legal risks if they try to save seeds like their ancestors did for centuries.
So it's not as simple as just picking a seed and planting it anymore.
Not quite. And this raises a big question. If a handful of companies control so many of the seeds, what does that mean for the future of farming and the food we eat?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, is who gets to decide what we grow and what ends up on our plates? We got to dig deeper into this.
Absolutely. We've got to see how this is all playing out on the ground for real farmers.
Okay, so let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll explore some real-life examples of how this seed monopoly is actually affecting farmers and what's being done to try and create a more, a more diverse and resilient food system. Stay tuned. All right, so we've talked about these seed monopolies, how a few companies control a lot of the seeds out there, but how does that actually affect a farmer, especially, someone who's new to all this?
Yeah, great question. Let's say you're a brand new farmer and you're all excited, you've got your land, you open up a seed catalog, and it's like this amazing world of possibilities, right?
Totally. So many different plants and veggies.
Right. But then you start reading the fine print and you realize a lot of these seeds are patented, many are GMOs, and they come with all these rules and restrictions.
So it's like, I can grow this, but only under these conditions kind of thing.
Exactly. It's like going to a toy store and finding out you can only play with certain toys in a certain way or you'll get in trouble.
That doesn't sound like much fun.
It's not. And remember those utility patents we talked about earlier, the ones for GMOs?
Yeah.
Those are the strictest. They basically say farmers can't save seeds from their harvest for the next planting season. And, saving seeds, that's been a core part of farming for centuries.
It makes sense to me, saving seeds. I mean, like, why wouldn't a farmer want to do that?
It's super practical, right? By choosing the best plants each year and saving their seeds, you're kind of developing a variety that's perfectly suited to your specific land, your climate, your conditions. It's like having a custom-made toy that works perfectly in your backyard.
But these patents, they disrupt that whole process.
Exactly, and make farmers dependent on these big companies year after year.
So they can't adapt their own seeds, they're stuck buying new ones. Wouldn't that get really expensive?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge financial burden, especially for new farmers, trying to get their footing. The Non-GMO Project article, they actually mentioned that a whopping 60% of the world's seed supply, it's controlled by just 4 chemical companies.
That's a lot of power in the hands of just a few.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like they would have the power to just raise prices whenever they wanted.
You're catching on. It's a big concern. And then what happens if a farmer decides, you know what, I'm going to save my seeds anyway?
Yeah, what happens then?
Well, that's where things can get tricky.
The tricky how?
There have been cases of corporations taking legal action against farmers and even seed savers who operate outside these patent restrictions.
Seriously?
Our sources from the Center for Food Safety, they've documented lots of examples of this. It's a real issue.
So even if a farmer doesn't want to use GMOs, they can still get in trouble.
Yeah, there's always this risk of contamination. If a neighbor's growing GMO crops, the wind can carry pollen over, bees can do their thing.
Right, bees don't respect property lines.
Exactly. And then suddenly, this farmer who's trying to grow non-GMO crops, they could face legal challenges even if they did nothing wrong.
That seems really unfair. Like,
Yeah.
what are farmers supposed to do? It's like a no-win situation.
Well, there is some hope. Remember those organizations we talked about that are fighting for seed sovereignty?
Yeah.
Groups like the Open Source Seed Initiative and Seed Savers Exchange, they're doing some really interesting work promoting open source seeds.
Open source seeds. Okay, I'm intrigued. What is that?
It's like a breath of fresh air. Open source seeds, they're not patented. They can be saved, shared, even bred to create new varieties. It's all about empowering farmers and giving them back that control.
So it's kind of like that original seed sharing idea, but like brought into the modern age?
Yeah. And it's not just national organizations. There are local seed libraries, community gardens, places where farmers can connect, swap seeds, and, just share that knowledge that used to be so central to farming.
Okay, that's awesome. So if I'm a new farmer, where do I even start? What can I do to be a part of this movement?
First off, look for open-pollinated, non-GMO seeds. They're out there. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Talk to experienced farmers. You can join online forums, visit those seed libraries.
That's good advice.
There's a ton of knowledge out there, and people are usually happy to help newcomers.
It's like getting advice from the master toy builder, so you can create your own awesome creations.
Exactly. And beyond just finding the right seeds, it's also important to understand the legal landscape. There's been a lot of debate about farmers' rights and whether it's even ethical to patent life, especially something as fundamental as seeds.
That's a huge question. Seems like there's so much more to this seed monopoly story than what we see at the surface.
You're absolutely right. Staying informed is crucial. Organizations like the Center for Food Safety, they're doing incredible work to protect farmers' rights, push for more transparency in the seed industry. They're like the legal superheroes of the food system.
Legal superheroes. I love it. So they're fighting to make sure everyone can access good food, healthy food, without all the corporate control.
Exactly. And this brings up another really crucial point. It's not just about farmers. Consumers, they have a huge role to play too.
Consumers.
Yeah.
I mean, people like me who, buy groceries. What can we do? Okay, so it's not just farmers fighting to save their seeds. It's all of us, right? Making choices that, support a better food system. But what can we actually do as consumers? What kind of difference can we really make?
Well, actually, quite a bit. Our everyday choices, they have this ripple effect. So when you're buying food, especially at the grocery store, try choosing organic, non-GMO products whenever possible.
Okay, so I have seen those labels, but like by buying those, I'm supporting farmers who aren't using patented seeds.
Exactly. You're sending a message to the whole food industry that, hey, you value diversity and you want to support a system that's fair to farmers. It's like casting a vote for a better food future with every purchase.
I like that. Voting with my wallet. That makes sense. But what else can we do besides, you know, choosing organic and non-GMO? What else is there?
Supporting local farmers markets is a huge one. You can often find farmers there who are growing a wider variety of crops, maybe even some heirloom varieties, the kind you just won't find in your average supermarket. And plus, you get to actually meet the people who grow your food.
That's true. It's way more personal. It's nice to know where your food comes from. Talk to the people who are growing it.
Absolutely. And speaking of supporting people, those organizations we talked about, the ones fighting for farmers' rights, seed sovereignty, like the Center for Food Safety, they
Yeah.
need our support too.
Right. The legal superheroes. How can we help them out?
Staying informed about the issues, spreading the word, that's a great start. Follow them on social media, share their articles, talk to your friends and family about what you're learning.
So it's like we become seed superheroes ourselves,
Yeah.
spreading awareness.
Exactly. And if you want to take it a step further, you can contact your elected officials, urge them to support policies that create a more just and sustainable food system.
It's amazing to think that even small actions can make a difference. But, I mean, it sounds like we need big changes too, right? To like really break these seed monopolies.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to take a collective effort. Farmers, consumers, policymakers, everyone working together to, shift that balance of power and make sure that good, healthy, affordable food is available to everyone.
So it's not just changing what's on our plate, it's changing the whole system.
Exactly. And it starts with, recognizing the power of those tiny seeds. They really hold the potential for a future where food is about connection and community, not just corporate control.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From the magic of a single bean to the complex world of seed monopolies, it's quite a journey.
It has. But the key takeaway is that we shouldn't feel overwhelmed or powerless. Every seed we plant, every food choice we make, it's all a step towards a better future.
So even if we're not all farmers, we can all still be part of the solution.
Absolutely. By supporting farmers, choosing diverse foods, advocating for change, we can all contribute to a more delicious, more just food system for everyone.
Well, I'm definitely feeling inspired. Thanks for joining us today and sharing your knowledge. I think everyone listening, especially those who are new to farming, they have a much better grasp now of what this whole seed monopoly thing is about and, what they can do to make a difference.
My pleasure. Remember, knowledge is power, and together we can really plant those seeds for a brighter food future.
That's a wrap on another episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those seeds of change growing. Hitting that like button and smash that subscribe